Welcome back to Foxy TV, episode 190. This is the second last episode of Foxy TV for the year. Now, this episode is basically a podcast in video form. I have a bunch of questions we've received over the last couple of weeks, and I basically put these questions to Jake and Phoebe while they're on holidays up here on the Sunshine Coast in their apartment. So thanks for making the time, Jake and Phoebe. Now, I totally stuffed up. I had this microphone here plugged into my computer while I was chatting to them, thinking it was recording. Now, it wasn't recording. It was recording to my computer. So we have to go with the iPhone audio recording. Now, as you will hear, it's not ideal. The kids are playing just outside off the balcony in the pool, you know, a bit of yelling and screaming, having a bit of fun. That is picked up. It's not perfect. I did my best, but a massive apology for the audio on this one. Next time, I won't rush it. I'll make sure the audio works perfectly. But yeah, I hope it's good enough for you to still listen to and watch and get information out of this one. Thanks to everyone who asked questions. And yeah, over to Jake and Phoebe, and we'll see you back here next week.
What AfterPay options work best for home staging and your experiences with them? I'm in New Zealand, so hoping to find one that would be in operation here.
So we looked into it, and something that we've always had is flexibility for us. So made the decision to bring that in-house, so we carried that risk. For everybody else, I know there's other options like AfterPay, and then there's other options that I think it's called AfterPay. There are ones out there. I know they defer the payment for 3 to 6 months. There is an application process. I don't know how straightforward it is. It just didn't work for us when we looked into it. Something that is working for us at the moment that I actually quite like, the vendor paid advertising, the VPA options that a lot of our real estate agents that we work with are now offering as part of their agencies. So Harcourts, they use List Ready, there's Campaign Agent. There are so many different ones that real estate agents have available to them. We then agree to be happy to be providing, sign up to that service through the agent. So the client then knows it's available to them through their agent. The difference for us, I know we're going to get paid. It's just the pay cycle happens once a month. So sometimes it's going to be a 4-week wait. Otherwise, it's less than 4 weeks. So if you are in a position to be able to wait for up to 4 weeks to have that payment come through, that's a really great option without actually having to change your process almost at all.
Can you talk about how you manage your business while away on holidays?
Perfect timing, given we're sitting in our apartment room at the beach in Caloundra. So I guess the first thing is having the team that we have in place and the people in place and giving responsibility to those people. So there's a couple of things. Probably that's the first one is we've got people who we trust, who have been there for long enough that they know most of the processes and what Phoebe and I expect of them. So Phoebe's got Nikki, who's taking all the phone calls and communication and still being across that. She's got Ebony, who's there doing stock lists and making sure that things are running from the styling point of view. I've got Russ and Fletcher in the logistics side of things that are making sure the trucks are running in the mornings, getting loaded, getting out on time. Afternoons, we're doing all the preparation. So all the stuff that normally happens, we've got the people still working to make that happen. The second thing, though, that I would say is that Phoebe and I don't completely shut out or shut off from the business. So, last night I was still doing pay runs. I was still getting stock, the stock database up to date. Phoebe was still sending a couple of emails and checking certain things and doing stock lists. So it's not that we completely cut ourselves off from the business. It's that we really minimise how much we are involved where we can, and then we just accept that there's part of being a business owner is still doing some of that stuff after hours or when the kids are asleep, while we're sitting here in a nice location.
How do you approach clients or agents when filming for social media? Do you let them know they are being recorded?
Most agents are 100% on board with it. You've got to think about their entire marketing strategy built on their reputation and their brand. So getting their name out, getting them known, getting them seen, obviously getting onto our social media is going to get them in front of more people. So they're actually normally 100% on board, and absolutely, we don't just bring a camera up in front of somebody. That's not really a very nice way to do it, and you don't generally get the best content out of doing it that way. We don't necessarily set an appointment and time to go and have a chat or a meeting with them. Cody might come along, Sean might come along and throw the camera up after a bit of a conversation, and I say, oh, look, do you mind if we get a few words on camera? it's always acknowledged. Video footage with clients, that doesn't happen very often. I know that some people in our team are funny about being in front of camera, and they're not signing on with us for us to then get them on camera. So yeah, that doesn't happen very often, but agents, that is part and parcel of what they do.
How do you navigate overwhelm? Being a parent and a business owner is a tough gig. I can't imagine even more so with such a big team and a network of agents.
How do you manage the overwhelm with that? I guess, it's not something that we think about too much. We just kind of, the business has grown. So from the start, it felt busy, and every year it's just felt, more growth. And it's something that we just kind of, if you stop and think about it, it does seem a bit crazy what we kind of have to contend with, between the family and, like I said, the kids, new baby, or newish baby, a lot of people growing. Whenever we add a new truck, that's another set of logistics concerns we have to deal with every day. We say new agents coming on, existing agents that we have relationships with, looking after them. But in terms of dealing with that, I mean, it's Phoebe and I try and talk quite a bit. It's not like we get home and decide we're not talking about the business. We enjoy it enough that that's still a big part of our conversation. Part of it is also, I don't know that we always get it right either. There are times definitely, October was a huge month for us, and we probably were a little bit overwhelmed with what we were, being asked or asking of ourselves as a business to do.
Are furniture shortages still a thing, and are they affecting you? If so, how are you dealing with it?
Yes, they absolutely are still a thing. We've only just received our freedom order of 3 coffee tables, 2 consoles, and 4 occasional chairs that I've had on order for over a year. We've only just received it. It just kept being pushed back. The way that I'm combating that is I'm purchasing a long way in advance now. So the new season launch for April next year has been released this month. So if you're a VIP or a person who means a lot to a wholesaler, they should have sent this information through to you. It's a bit tricky in the short term to get into that position where your business is enough that they're going to send the VIP launch information through to you. But we've had a number sent through to us. I've already done orders for everything, and we will be receiving those late March, early April. So I know that it's coming. It's basically on order for that entire time. They're going to sell out of that shipment, and if you're not on that early marketing, means that you're not going to have to wait until July, August, September. So I'm combating it by being early. I honestly don't have any tips or anything that I can help if you're not on that early access. The other thing is we do buy off the floor clearance options. So, for example, Oz Design in the city, they're absolutely phenomenal, and I work alongside those guys a lot. So they would be, I reckon, in one of our top 5 suppliers for the year, as far as dollars spent in store. And if they've got something they need cleared, they give me a call, and we will have the truck down there in the same day to collect it. Working hard on those relationships.
Ready, Set, Show Road Valley asks, considering the number of homes you staged this year, I can't help but wonder, are you a low price leader?
I saw this question before as it came through, and it's a good question. I like it. So I guess when you're looking from a business model point of view, a lot of the time you think, if I'm a low cost provider, if I want to be the cheapest or one of the cheapest, I'll get more work, but therefore I have to be a high volume business. So I can see where that question is coming from. The simple answer for us is no, we're not. We've built the volume side of the business from our point of view, from things like our social media, doing that over a number of years, the relationship building that Phoebe's done and the team have done, our reputation in the industry, what we provide as a service. Obviously, we get a lot of agents continuing to work with us once they work with us the first couple of times. So all of those things have kind of gone into the amount of business that we do. From a pricing point of view, we have never wanted to be the cheapest, and that's definitely not at the lower price point. We've never wanted to be there, and there are definitely lower cost providers in our kind of market in Brisbane. We deliberately price ourselves at around the middle of the market, if not slightly above that. So if you were to look at the kind of average pricing for what comparable job that we're doing, we price ourselves slightly above the average, and we've done that, like we say, deliberately to make it so it's not. We don't want to be at the high end, because we know that most of the high end agents are stages are doing their pricing based on hiring furniture, and that's kind of what's driving the higher prices. We want it to be lower than that, but we definitely don't want to be at the lower end of the market. So it's a good question though.
Rick from Get Stage Newcastle asks, I use tea in alcohol bottles, but it's going mouldy. I've tried searching other ways to stage with alcohol, but couldn't come up with anything, so I thought I would ask you guys.
Yeah, that is an issue when it gets very humid. We have been switching it out. You can use colour dye. We can go for options. So for example, when I say colour dye, there are ones that you can dilute. Like, I don't know how much you're willing to spend on making it look like actual alcohol in those bottles. Some stylists just use them as an empty bottle. Some we've got as vodka or gin, where you can just fill it up with water and it looks like it's supposed to look. You can get coloured bottles and just fill that also up with water, and just avoid those Scotch and whiskey bottles or the decanters. Or you can fill a decanter up with what looks like red wine, depending on what the decanter is. So it just depends on how much you're willing to spend, because otherwise you could just have alcohol in it.
You've mentioned rebalance days on Instagram stories. What are they?
Rebalance Leave for our team. Basically, real estate's cyclical. Everybody who's in the real estate industry knows it's a cyclical business as far as how busy you are at any point in time. You have crazy time during spring. December's traditionally slower. Winter's traditionally slower. And then sort of February, March, April, we're also busy. So we expect a lot from our team in those busy times. But coming from a medical and a finance background, we're both on salaries. Health has a system where it's called time and owed in lieu. You write down the overtime that you do. You sort of get it paid back over time if you want to take an hour here or there. It's called toil. Jake, basically, you worked and you didn't really get it paid back at any point. Overtime was an expectation of his role. But we never wanted either of those systems for our team. We've always said that work-life balance is an incredibly important thing for us. So the best way for us to come up with that was to come up with a system that gave our team back that time that we know that they were putting in over and above for us. So during those incredibly busy periods, we have a system where they do get a rebalance day during that month. There's criteria to that. Things like, how many public holidays are in that month? How many leave days have we had? Obviously, if you've got to have 3 weeks of annual leave, you're not going to get a rebalance day in that month. We're sensible about it. Our team are sensible about it, but it's something that they earn and something that's a reward for them and an acknowledgement for them going over and above. Not in the award. It's not in it. It's something that we've created for our team, and therefore it's fully at our discretion and within our control. But I have to say, I don't think our team have ever done the wrong thing with it. They've just really appreciated every time they've had the day off.
Hey guys, what's your thoughts on TikTok? I see you have over 39,000 followers, but engagement is low. Do you recommend incorporating TikTok into our socials?
So TikTok is one that we have been on for a little while. We got a lot of followers because, probably a year or year and a half ago, when we first started doing it, there was not as many people on there, so the organic reach was a lot better. Not that it's not good now. It's one of those, what they call it, it's interest-based, so it's you can put out a video tomorrow, have no followers, and if you get 1 million views, if it gets the virality from an interest point of view. I don't know that we've gotten any specific business from it yet. So what I would say is it's probably not the first priority in terms of social media. If you're starting out, if you don't have your Instagram or Facebook kind of going, then I'd say those would be the priority. Having said that, the reason that we see TikTok as being so important is because it's that interest-based algorithm. Other social media platforms are starting to incorporate more of that. So both that and the fact that it's short-form video, which we're now seeing in stories and reels on Instagram. We're seeing it in YouTube Shorts, Facebook, whatever they call their version of it. So short-form video is a very important content medium, and it's something that we, through TikTok and through reels and through stories, are trying to learn to be better at. So from that point of view, we see it as very important just from a learning point of view, and it'll impact the business in other ways.
Stage property styling Cairns asks, how many people at a time are working to stage one property and how long does it take?
I would love to say that we have a team. So I'm going to split the team actually. I'm going to split the team logistics and styling. Logistics, generally we have 3 in the truck. At the moment there's pretty much always 3. The boys used to always operate with 2. So let's say 3 in the truck. They are on site for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then they head off to the next job. With the stylist, I would love to be able to tell you, and the aim is, and my intention always has been, that the girls work in pairs. But it hasn't really worked out that way at the moment, just more to do with staffing levels, everything like that. The girls tend to work solo, unless it's a really big property, and then we get more people. So when I'm saying a big property, generally a 4-bed, 2-living property will then have a second stylist on site. Anything bigger than that, we're talking another third stylist on site. The girls are even working on their own in a 2-bedroom unit, they're only there for 2 hours. So having a second or a third person join them is not really going to save them all that much time. It just gives them company, workplace health and safety, makes it much safer. They have to be able to lift anything they might want to move. Hanging artwork becomes easier. It's just that company fact that I want to have the second person on board with them.
Overrated. The World Cup.
There's no right answer to that, Cody. Overrated because I prefer a husband who I've had sleep. I'm getting stared at. You're not meant to be listening.
Underrated. It's great. Every 4 years, get excited.
IKEA Dimpler bags.
Version 1, underrated. Updated version, overrated. They're breaking far too easy. Got to come up with a better solution.
Oh yeah, they're underrated. Ever since we found them, we've been raving about them. We get a lot of people ask about those. They're really good.
Having someone else do furniture selections for you.
Ask me again in a couple of months once we've got the process down pat. Right now it's rated.
For me, I don't do them, but if I answer from Phoebe's point of view, I would say it's underrated as an idea, but difficult to put into practice.
Having a fabric couch cleaner, the little one we have in-house, compared to, say, getting a professional in.
Underrated. But Dave's good. Dave's awesome.
Fabric cleaner, I'd say, I don't know how to answer that. I guess it's underrated in the sense that if we use it properly, we can avoid a lot of the professional cleaning, but at the same time, professional cleaner just does such a good job.